All I know absolutely for certain is that this guitar got into a fight with a forklift and it won. I am so excited for you to hear about this story and to hear about the forklift itself. Make sure you're subscribed down below, and thank you to my patrons for making this video happen. I'm Jeremy, I'm the Guitar Hunter. Check out the links in the description down below. Become a patron or a channel member and give a thumbs up on this video. Make sure you're subscribed. Bada bing, bada boom, the forklift. Now, this guitar was damaged in shipping. The story, as I've heard it, and I have imagined and speculated, is that this guitar was on a pallet of guitars, and I've seen the case that this guitar came in. It would seem like the forks of the forklift just poked straight through the box, through the case, and smashed up the back end of this guitar. The damage to this guitar was comprehensive. This guitar is now the equivalent of a salvage title in a guitar. It has had a lot of damage to it, but it was expertly repaired. So let's talk about the damage here. The back of this guitar, the very end where the strap button is, was broken very significantly, and you have seen there's really masterful work to bring the threads of the guitar, the grain of the guitar back together, and then for the finish to be adjusted. It is really hard to spot. The only thing that you can really see on this guitar is about a 1.5 inch top crack that is fairly noticeable, and I think it's just because this guitar is an Italian spruce top and it's a very white top with no aging toner, and so because of that, it's just very stark when you see that black line. I am confident that it will become much less obvious as this guitar ages and gets older. Now, the back where the guitar damage is, I mean, you would really have to know to look for it, and it is fairly comprehensive. On one side of the end block, you have a vertical crack going from the front of the guitar to the back. You also have, it seems to split over to one side going towards the left, and then on the right side, you can see that there is another crack and more damage. All of this, the grain has been really well suited and brought back together so that you can barely see it. The only thing that I've noticed in certain light is that you see that the finish was sanded down and refinished. Now, if you know Furch guitars, one of their shining achievements in making incredible guitars is their UV cured ultra thin finish. The sides have been refinished in a more traditional way. They don't have access to the proprietary UV cured lacquer that comes from the Furch factory. I don't think that adds or changes the tone of the guitar very much because, as you know, guitars are a physics system. The thing I keep hearing from guitar builders, as time and time again as I tour factories, as I meet builders, as I interview them for this channel, is that you want a rim of the guitar to be very rigid. So I think adding more material, I think the rim of the guitar doesn't add a whole lot to the tone. So thankfully, if your guitar is going to be damaged, it's a pretty good place for it to be damaged. This guitar has come together in a way that is unbelievable and very unsuspecting. The most anyone would expect about this guitar, if they just looked at it, would be that they would see that it has this tiny crack on the top. And I think in a few years that will become even less of a big deal. This guitar, let's talk about owning a guitar that's particularly damaged. Years ago, one of my first YouTube videos that really kind of took off was a guitar that I dubbed the Phoenix. And this was a 2014 Gibson Hummingbird Pro. It had a cutaway and it had a very, like, just complete neck crack. Headstock, completely separate piece. It is also the worst repair I've ever seen any repair person do. It was genuinely awful. You should go watch that video. But I called that guitar the Phoenix because that guitar from the ashes rose up to be an unbelievable guitar. It sounded killer. It looked really cool. My friend Tim in Baton Rouge did an amazing job on the repair. He added a little more meat. It didn't feel like an old Gibson style headstock. It felt more like a Guild or more of a U shape, but it was meaty and substantial and was not going anywhere. He was also able to do a new Gibson headstock overlay. So it still had the original serial number. It had the right looking headstock. The Phoenix was a great guitar. I think that this guitar is similar in that regard. While the damage was substantial, it's going to take a high level, like someone would really have to know what they're looking for to find the damage on this guitar. It still maintains this just incredible ability to just sing and to play really, really well. This guitar the forklift, the ferklift, and I think you should call it the ferklift as well. It is an unbelievable guitar with a really cool story. And if you like, the closest analogy I have comes from the world of car YouTube. Some of my favorite channels are Hoovy's Garage, VinWiki, Ed Bolian, Tavarish, Car Trek. And so one of the things that Ed Bolian from VinWiki always talks about, he loves buying cars with salvage titles. And one of the things that he says is salvage title cars are such a deal up front, and if you can deal with the damage, you can get a great deal. And then they only get better the longer they are since the trauma happened. And so this guitar, I mean, I think it's over a year now. This guitar has been with me for about 6 months. It is over a year since its damage, its trauma, and it is just getting better and better, as all solid wood hand-built guitars always do. They just sound better the more they get used and the older they are. And this guitar is stable. I would have no concern for the life and longevity and just the structure of this guitar. It is absolutely cool, and I can't believe that it is with me, and it can be with you. This guitar will be for sale. It's on my website. There's a link in the description down below. I introduce you to the ferklift.